The best, most effective way to actually do this is to take those 3 goals and break them out at different times of the year so you're not working on all of them at the same time. Because the more you can focus on one thing at a time, the more success that you'll actually have.
You're listening to Thrive by Design, business, marketing, and lifestyle strategies for your jewelry brand to flourish and thrive. Let's get started.
Welcome to the Thrive by Design podcast, episode 133. Hey there, it's Tracy Matthews here, the Chief Visionary Officer over at Flourish and Thrive Academy. And I'm super stoked to be here today. Happy New Year, everyone. I feel like for the entire month of January, we're allowed to say Happy New Year and continue saying that. Anyway, I am excited because today, as many of you know, and many of you have participated in, we've been working for the last several weeks with so many of you in the Jewelry Brand Makeover Bootcamp. And today we got a lot of questions in that bootcamp that I thought would be really helpful to sort of address here on the podcast. So I've done a couple of these Ask Tracy episodes before, and I'm excited to bring you another one today, which is super fun. So I can't wait to chat with you about this topic because today is all about how not to procrastinate, how to stay motivated and really excited about your work every day so that you can focus on the right things to do. So I know that a lot of you really struggle. You're creative. I am too. I totally get you. I totally get you more than you even know. And we're visionary types, right? We like ideas. We like coming up with new designs. If you're like me, you probably also enjoy thinking of ways to actually put your brand out there or think of new packaging and all those sorts of things. Well, that's totally normal. You're not rare or weird to feel like that if you have a jewelry business, because that's probably why you started your business in the first place, because you had a passion for design, you loved creating, you really love making jewelry. And I get it because I'm right there with you. But what ends up happening is, we quit our job or we're thinking about quitting our job. We're selling some jewelry on the side. We're trying to work towards that place of getting consistent sales every single day. Maybe I take that to the next level, consistent steady sales every single day, but we sit down to work. We have no focus. We're not motivated to do the things that are going to actually move our business forward. And then we're frustrated because at the end of the day, nothing's happening. We're not getting the traction that we need to actually build a business. We're struggling with those next steps and we're not really sure what to do or how to handle it. So I actually curated a bunch of questions from our audience, from members of our bootcamp. And I'm going to sort of address them. They're very similar types of questions, but they also cover different kinds of angles. So I thought this would be a fun way to sort of kick off the new year. I'll be doing more of these Ask Tracy Q&As as the year goes on because I love answering questions from our community. It's just super duper fun. So before I do that, for those of you who've been a part of bootcamp or even a part of our Unforgettable Brand Masterclass series, you probably know that we just opened enrollment for our Laying the Foundation course. And this is likely the last time we will ever run this course live with live coaching, with Robin and I showing up together in the community to actually coach you with live Q&A calls and all that sorts of things. So I would love to invite you to join us there. Let me tell you a little bit about the program first. Laying the Foundation is our signature program. It was the first program that we actually ever launched here at Flourish and Thrive Academy. We just went through a huge overhaul for the program. It is amazing. It's so much better. And it doesn't matter if you're just starting out in business or if you've been in business for a long time, if you're struggling to get consistent, steady sales, if you're struggling to get exposure, if you're struggling to sort of tip to that next level of success in your business, then this course will really help you out in a variety of different ways. It was really designed to kind of show you how to, from A to Z, build an unforgettable brand that everyone's talking about and help you kind of propel your status as a designer to go from aspiring to rising so that you're attracting the right sales, the right clients, the right types of exposure, and you start building this customer base that continues to buy from you for life. And maybe for you. Oh, we'll just say that. Maybe they're buying gifts for you. Who knows? But this is really the foundation of business in general, especially for a creative business like a jewelry business. And this course is specifically catered towards jewelry designers. Now, if you run another type of product-based business, sure, it will still be helpful. But if you are a jewelry designer, this is going to really whip your bootay into shape. So you might be one of those people who's kind of sick of putting all this effort into building a website that gets basically 0 visitors and no sales. I've worked with so many designers like that. So I can totally get it if you feel that way. You might hear that your friends and family love your jewelry, but you're really struggling to kind of branch out of the friends and family zone, sort of like the friend zone, they say in dating. And you're really struggling to kind of get to reach people who actually don't know you, which is how you actually start to build your exposure, because those unknowns are the ones that start to give referrals to more people that don't know you, and so on and so forth. You really struggle when you're trying to get your jewelry into stores. Like, you struggle with your wholesale efforts. You're really scared to even try reaching out to stores because you're afraid of rejection. Totally get that. Or maybe you're even afraid of trying to even reach out to magazine editors or bloggers or influencers because you're worried that you will get a non-response or that they'll actually say no. And I get that anxiety. Totally get it. You might even struggle to differentiate yourself, find your unique voice, and really narrow in on your target market. And so what ends up happening because of that, your sales start to fall really flat, and that gets annoying over time. I can totally get it. You might even feel exhausted and overwhelmed, and that's sort of what today's episode is about all the time. I totally feel you guys. I'm there with you, because there are just too many options to sell online, and you can't handle e-commerce or some of the other parts of running a business because there's just so much. And you're really struggling to decide what to do because you're getting your business going and you actually feel stuck and you're struggling to kind of get to that next level. Well, if you'd like to completely reframe and flip that, I'm here to help you. And what I really want to do is help you transform your passion for design into a successful and desirable brand. I'd really like to help you turn your customers into raving fans, as well as your best sales reps and media channel. And I'd love for you to uncover your brand voice and have the confidence to shout it from the mountaintops. I'd love for you to effortlessly leverage PR and exposure to help put your marketing on the spotlight so more people are actually finding your brand. I'd love to also help you create burning desire and a very strong buzz for your jewelry brand, drastically increase your profits. Hello, money. I love it. By discovering how to set your business up the right way, because this is really the trick. Increasing your profits by doing things more efficiently and having the right focus, right? That's what this episode's about. And then more importantly, create the life that you've always wanted, to be able to fulfill your dreams and support yourself with the income that you're actually making from your business. So if you want to say yes to all those things, head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/LTF. That's flourishthriveacademy.com/LTF. And I am ready and waiting to help you have the best year in business ever and to continue that upward streak for a very, very long time. All right, well, let's dive into today's episode. So today, I want to really talk about how to focus, not procrastinate, and stay motivated every single day when you feel super overwhelmed. So this topic sort of came up because a lot of you were asking questions like, I just moved and this is great. I have a new studio space, but I'm having a really hard time sort of like getting my bearings because my desire was to actually like redesign my collection and I can't get the focus to actually like sit down and do it. Plus sit down and actually do those revenue generating activities. So our first question comes from Leah. And she said that the thing that she's struggling with the most right now in business is how to best manage her time. So part of the problem is that she's not able to delegate or get enough things off of her plate. And that is a huge problem and important to mention. But she is really struggling to get back online. So how can she get motivated and focused? Because her number one focus this year is to sell more jewelry on her website. She has took some time off and she's still in vacation mode and she can't whip herself back into shape. I totally hear you. I've been there so many times. So there's a couple things in this that I kind of want to address, which I think will be really important. A lot of you, and I still do on time to time, struggle with managing your time because I'm creative and I really, really have to focus on mapping out my day. And so when I talk to designers and makers in our community who've either been privately coached by me or in our group setting, like laying the foundation when we do our coaching or in our Diamond Insiders, when I get asked this question, the first thing that I ask, and I want you to ask yourself this, is how are you structuring your day? Because this is the most important piece of getting things done. So the reason why I say this is that creating structure, especially for creative people, and you can balk at me all you want, but if you are a creative and you're not getting the right things done and your business isn't moving forward and you're not structuring your day, I would like to challenge you to think about structuring your day a little bit more. So I've learned this from many gurus over the years, is that it's really important to work in numbers of threes. So if you're in our Diamond Insiders or you've been coached by any of us before, you've taken laying the foundation before, you probably heard me talk about this rule of three. I always encourage designers to focus on 3 commitments a week and then break those commitments down into 3 priorities a day. And it's a really great practice as well. Many life coaches and mentors talk about only creating 3 big goals for your year in life and business, because more than that keeps you scattered. So we're working with these rules of 3. And so to get focused during the day, I think, if you break it down, this is just going to be like high level overview. You want to make sure you have your 3 goals a year, that you break those 3 goals into quarterly milestones. So every quarter, you're thinking about the number one thing that you want to achieve that quarter and how you're actually going to achieve it. Because the best, most effective way to actually do this is to take those 3 goals and, break them out at different times of the year. So you're not working on all of them at the same time. Because the more you can focus on one thing at a time, the more success that you'll actually have. So then what ends up happening is that every month and every week you have a top, objective of the things that you want to complete. And that dials down into your weekly commitment. So here are the things that you're going to commit to. Here's how you're going to do it with these 3 priorities a day. So you sit down, you map out your 3 priorities a day, hopefully a whole week in advance, but you could do it the night before, depending on what you completed the day before. And you don't do anything else until those 3 priorities are committed or completed, I should say. You're committing to them, but you're completing them. And here's the reason why. And they're also, let me just add this too, they're also the first things that you complete during the day. Here's the reason why. Putting more than that on our plate, like creating this huge long list of things, that's great. Like we need to make lists, we need to get things out of our head. Keep doing that. But you need to have a separate list of the 3 things that you need to do, and they also need to be done at the beginning of the day or when you're most productive. I like to say at the beginning of the day because the later it gets in the day, the easier it is to blow them off. So I like to liken this off to working out. I was working out with my trainer this morning before I was recording this, and I hired a trainer because I'm going on a snowboarding trip, and we're going to be snowboarding in fresh powder. And I know that if I don't work out and get my workout in the morning, I am going to blow it off. And then by the time this snowboarding trip comes, I'm going to be weak and not be able to participate. I won't be strong enough. My legs won't be strong enough to actually float on the powder. So I know that if I get that done in the morning, I have no excuse to back it out at the end of the day. So for all of you, it's the same principle when it comes to work. Like if you say, I'm going to do my sales calls at 5. Well, what if your son gets sick at school? You have to go pick him up. Or your daycare opportunity falls through, or you get a call from your sister and she needs your help, or you could just get distracted, which is usually the problem that most of us have. 5, 6, 7 o'clock rolls around, you're starving, it's time for dinner, and you still haven't completed your sales activities or your marketing activities. And these are the things that move your business forward. We call these revenue generating activities. So you set 3 priorities a day of what you want to complete, and you get those priorities dialed in on your calendar. You set a 1-hour timer or a 50-minute timer and work in sprints, no distractions, turn everything else off, text message, Instagram notifications, Facebook notifications, email, all that stuff gets shut off unless that's the task that you're working on until your task is complete. So if you have a priority of making 5 sales calls to wholesale stores or customer service calls to wholesale stores and you have nothing else distracting you, chances are you'll get them done. And I like to do these revenue generating activities first, like the things that are bringing money into your business, because creative people oftentimes, luckily enough, we have almost endless amounts of creativity at time. We can come up with ideas nonstop. Our mind's ADD. We're all over the place. And we have trouble focusing. So when we get back to the topic of today's podcast, part of the issue is that we're not focusing our energy enough on the most important things. So if you commit and you make yourself do those 3 things before you do some of the other stuff, you get it over with, it gets done, and then it frees up your mind and your space to know that you actually did the things that are going to help you grow your business. But then also, you can also do the fun things that you want to do. So this helps you be not only more productive, but to focus and also reduce feeling overwhelmed because you know exactly what you have to do every single day. So I really want to encourage you to do this. So the next question and comment comes from Teresa. So she said, I'm really struggling with my time. Please help me. I work full time and I have so much to learn for the tech and the marketing side of things for her passion that she really struggles with enough time to actually create. And there's a huge learning curve and she's struggling with it. And she's seen a lot of free advice out there, but a lot of times it's sort of like a general overview and it's not super helpful. So looking for all that free advice has actually been sort of a waste of time for her instead of actually helping her. So how can she handle this to actually learn what she needs to learn all the technology to help move her marketing forward and also have enough time to create while she's working full time? Well, if we're banking on what I mentioned before, the same principles hold true. You might have 3 priorities for every day that you decide to work. You might have less time to work, so you decide on how big those priorities are, but I still encourage you to do that. Make a list of the things that you need to get done, prioritize them, only pick 3 things, do the most important thing first. So if it's learning how to use Instagram stories and set something up, then I want to encourage you to do that first, write a system for it, practice that system, make sure that you have it down. And then as far as time wasted, really scouring the internet for free stuff that is like not valuable, I'd really encourage you to find like one community or one network that actually works for you. You know, one of the reasons why we're so specific in helping jewelry designers is because that is what me and my team over here know. Several of the members of my core team are actually designers or makers themselves. They have gone through our courses, so they know exactly everything that we teach, and they're able to support because they come from the jewelry industry. And so this is really important. It's like finding the right mentors. Someone who handles general marketing might not be able to show you as much how you can create valuable content for your Instagram feed when you're a jewelry designer because they don't understand exactly like how to build a jewelry brand. It's very different. And the connection and stuff that we create, the way we identify our dream clients, like all that stuff is very different than general marketing because we're not really solving the world's problems with jewelry. What we're doing is improving people's lives because it makes them feel good and because they love what they're wearing. And so it's a totally different shift. So what I'd really encourage you to do is to find a program that really resonates with you, invest in that program because more than anything, at least I can only speak from my own experience because a course like Laying the Foundation, we go really in depth. We do a lot of how-to. We break it down. We give you tons of worksheets and workbooks, I should say, to help you walk you through the exercises where our videos kind of give you an overview of the concepts. The workbooks are designed to actually help you go deep into what exactly that you need to know so that you can think strategically about actually building your brand, start to put the pieces together so that you can have better marketing, so that you can go out there with more confidence with your sales conversations that you're having and, you know, be able to like really email your list with confidence and be able to put yourself out there on social media with confidence so that you're not feeling like, oh, what's my brand about or sounding so pitchy or salesy. This is a super duper important piece of the puzzle. And so finding something like our Laying the Foundation course or finding something that's, you know, that resonates or works for you is really important to actually up-leveling your skill set. So Teresa, hey, if you're listening, I would love to invite you to join us for Laying the Foundation because I think we could really help you and give you a step-by-step guide that will actually save you a ton of time and money. And one of the things that I love is that people spend all this time, I mean, I don't necessarily love this for them, but they spend all this time Googling information. But number one, they don't even really know what they're looking for. So they're Googling like the wrong type of thing, which is going to lead them down like a, you know, hamster wheel path of not really getting results. But then secondly, they're Googling stuff that's like bits and pieces of a puzzle. And, you know, in a lot of cases, it's just like an overview, maybe not going to give you specific instructions, which is hard to patch together. Like, how do you put this all together in something that makes sense to actually build your business? Sure, you can find one-off articles on how to up-level Instagram hashtags or to figure out how to beat the Instagram algorithm. But how does Instagram fit into the bigger picture of your complete marketing plan? So I feel like that's part of the missing piece of wasting time. And what this will actually do is help you focus on the right activities that will get you to a place where you're actually moving your business forward, that will get you to a place where you're getting more consistent, steady sales and get you to a place where you are staying motivated every day because you actually feel excited because what you're doing is actually working. Does that make sense? I hope so. And then our final question comes from Michelle. Basically, her situation is that she's dealing with consistency, being able to consistently show up. I believe that Michelle also has a day job and she's struggling because I think she's overwhelmed. She's struggling with coming up with enough ideas. She's tired all the time because she's working. She doesn't feel re-energized. And because of recent changes on the festival circuit and with how business actually runs these days, she's really struggling to make her business survive or help her business survive. So she's asking, what do I do? Like, how do I sort of combat the changes that are currently happening in the market so that I can continue to have more energy, have a business that's successful, and continue to grow, even if I have a full-time job? So this is a great question. And while I kind of gave an overview because it was a pretty long question, I wanted to really address this idea because a lot of you are exhausted. Your old way of doing business is no longer working and you're struggling to move forward. And, I was thinking about this. I think about this a lot because if I look back on my business 15 years ago, the way I was doing business was so very different than what I'm doing now. And it continues to evolve like every single year, like the way I market, the way I show up, the way I help customers, all of that stuff continues to evolve. The way I get referrals, all that stuff expands, changes. And being static in your business ideas and your business processes is basically the death of your business. And I'm saying this is like, if you can't adapt, and this is not directed at you, Michelle, but this is just in general to our entire community of designers out there and makers who are listening to this. If you aren't willing or able to adapt, then you should probably not be in this industry in the first place. Because as a business owner, as someone in the jewelry industry in particular, the ways that we're reaching customers, the old ways of thinking are very different. People are opting for the convenience of shopping online. They're opting for the convenience of showing up for things when they feel like it. Buyers, even in general for wholesale, aren't necessarily even walking trade shows anymore. So doing things in the old way, and I'm using air quotes as I say that, could potentially be the death of your business. And it's not to say that trade shows are dead or live events are dead or all these other things are dead. They're not. People still go to live events. In fact, last summer I was at a festival in Sun Valley, Idaho, where my family goes for a vacation. And I met a really wonderful couple of designers at that show. And, they were making sales and making things happen. So people in New York City here right now in the freezing cold, people are standing out doing holiday markets and stuff, or they were during the holiday season. And they make money. They make a lot of money doing those things. But I know for a fact that a lot of people who do those markets, things eventually change and evolve. And their old way of business, like maybe they dropped out of doing so many of them, or they focused just on the best one and put all their efforts into that, because that's how you start to think critically about what's working for your business and what isn't. So if your show circuits are changing, you're not getting into shows, and you still want to sell your business, you got to think, or not sell your business, sell your jewelry, I should say, and create a business. Maybe you want to sell your business too. You have to think strategically and holistically about how you're putting your brand out there and what is actually working now. And so for most of us, without exception, for most of us, this is going to require a strong online presence, a strong digital marketing presence, and a strong website presence beyond a third-party platform like Etsy. This is the direction that business is going. I just finished reading or listening to on tape because I like to listen to books on tape. It's part of the reason why I do a podcast because I'm an audio learner. In this book, The Four, really great book, it's talking about the hidden DNA of Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Google, and how they've sort of taken over the world kind of in a way. And I want to say Amazon took away a lot of business from traditional retail because people can find almost anything that they need on Amazon these days. This is not to scare any of you who are independent jewelry brands because people still want to shop from people like you. The thing is that you need to think strategically about how people are actually shopping these days, which is online. It's like, I can tell you, I'm not walking out in 10-degree weather to go to a CVS or a pharmacy or, a hardware store to pick up something when I can have it tomorrow or within a few hours with Amazon Locker or Amazon Prime or Amazon delivery. All these things have changed the way that commerce is happening. In fact, I remember back in Y2K days, I made a small investment in FedEx stock. And I remember my husband at the time saying, like, this is going to be a really good stock, Tracy, because people with the rise of this company that's coming on the scene called Amazon, people are going to want things faster and faster, and people are going to start shopping online more. And that stock, in the time that I owned it, split like 4 times. I made so much money off of that. But at the same time, like, it was, an opportunity. This just goes to show you that people aren't necessarily shopping the same way that they used to. And this isn't to get scared. Like, things are going to change again. We'll get used to selling online, and then something else is going to happen. They're going to, like microchips in our wrists or something, and we could just like microchip order by saying that we want something, and it will magically show up in thin air or something like that. I don't know. I'm making that up. But the point being is that things are changing. They're going to continue to change, and you have to be willing to adapt and continue to learn to grow in order to get your business to continue growing. And in order to avoid that burnout and fatigue that you're feeling. So what I'd like to invite you all to do is to just really refresh, reboot, and re-energize your business and check back in with what it is that you're doing and what you stand for. If anyone knows a thing or two about burnout, this girl here talking, me, does, if you didn't get who that was, knows about it. I've been through it many times in my career, and I really work very hard to avoid it now so that I can stay focused, so that I can be motivated to wake up every single day and build these 2 businesses that I'm building and focus on the right action without procrastinating. And I'm going to tell you something. If you are a procrastinator, don't beat yourself up about it. I'll make a true confession here. I am a procrastinator too. You should not let that stress you out. You just have to learn how to work with it and how to keep yourself on task and on point. And I swear, if you follow some of the things that I talked to you about today, if you're setting goals, that you're breaking your milestones down, you're setting monthly and weekly commitments, and you are scheduling in your day and breaking down your most important priorities, getting them done in the beginning of the day, and creating a schedule for yourself of what you actually have to complete, you will have a lot of success and you will move your business forward. I promise you. You can do this. Trust me. Trust the process. All right, you guys, that was a fun episode. I love doing Ask Tracy Q&As. They're super fun for me. So thanks so much for listening today. I want to remind you that we have this really epic course going on right now. This is likely our last time that we will ever do it live with my team. And this is a really great opportunity for you to not only take the program, but to also get the coaching aspect that we bring when we offer this course, Laying the Foundation, live. So if you're ready to really bring your business to the next level, if you would like to, I don't know, it's like, think of like all your biggest struggles in business right now. If you'd like to basically turn them around, this is an opportunity for you to do that with us because we have a great group of coaches who are going to be supporting us. Robin and I will continue to do our Q&A calls. We're going to be doing weekly Q&A calls throughout the course. You'll have an opportunity this time around to continue working with us for a month after the course is over in our Diamond Insiders program for free. It's included. And so you have basically 3 months to work with us and my team. And it's a great opportunity for you to just really sort of see the gaps in your business, to learn what is missing. Because a lot of times when we work in a vacuum and when we work in a silo, we don't know what's missing. How could we? Because we're sitting there just like getting caught in our heads. Like there's no one else giving us feedback. So trust me, from someone who's been there, done that. I don't want you to do the same thing. Come join us. Come party with us for this, the rest of the winter and spring. If you're here in the Western Hemisphere, if you're on another side of the world, then, party with us for, end of summer and fall or whatever. Anyway, we'd love for you to join us. You can head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/LTF to join us. Thank you so much. This is Tracy Matthews signing off. Looking forward to chatting with you next week.